There up was all company owned. It was on a reserve. It was a mining company that really owned that most of that timber, and they was holding it in reserve for their mining timbers to something to fall back on if they couldn't buy enough timbers for their own use. And then there was one other place I logged a little farther up, just the other side of the Wilson truck trail. I had 40 acres in there that I logged. That was jack pine.
Now that Wilson Trail, does that have any connection to your name, Joe?
No, that was the guy who was superintendent of the CC camp over at Camp Loveless, that was superintendent of the camp that built these trails in here, a lot of some of the public access and forestry trails back in the 30s.
Where was the CC camp?
Well, the CC camp where most of this was built from was over by Camp Loveless. That was just a little bit west of Itasca Park.
North of 113?
North of 113, yes.
Was 113 a highway back in those days?
It was known as a highway, but it didn't look much like one.
Was it gravel?
No, very little gravel on it. It was just a trail through the woods. There's some places we come in, we traveled when I first come up here, if two met, especially if a truck, several places, one of them had to back off the road a little bit to let the other one by. The road was just that kind of a trail.
So it's probably more like what the Mackenzie Lake Road is now.
Mackenzie Lake Road is better than that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it was a trail.
Huh?
It was a trail.
It was, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We used to make better logging, just a good logging roads to log stuff out of the woods. That was more like this trail where I had the mill back here. You know, we looked at.
Right.
That 113 was more like that trail was at that time. And of course the road on up on the east side of the lake here was the same. And on both sides here, that was, see, Leverson done a lot of work, fixed that road up, and then since he left that Mackenzie Trail, that's been built up, so fixed up some more yet since Leverson was in there.
Right. Now Leverson had a son as well that worked in the operation, didn't he?
His son was, I don't know, he never worked with him. His son is, the last I knew, he went to he was in South America. He's a engineer, I don't know, I think a structural engineer, I'm not sure. But I think he's still down there. But he never worked with Leverson here. He was just a kid at the time.
I see. Did Leverson live with his family up there then?
No, his family, him and his wife had separated shortly after he come up here. He had the shop, he had the mill up here, and he had a shop woodworking shop in in Pelican Rapids. And his wife stayed down there, and then he was up here with the mill, and they'd be back and forth quite a little, and a few years later, they separated.
I see.
So, and then he used to go, after that, he used to go years later, after he got a little quite old, and built these cabins up here. He used to go to Virginia in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. Now we're about 200 or 300 feet from County Road 39 to the east on the Anchor Hill Forest Road. You can see the post down there on the right of the road is the sign that comes off of County Road 39. And just to the south of the Anchor Hill Forest Road, Buck has pointed out to me that there's a foundation stone and concrete foundation of the old roundhouse from the railroad operation from the logging days prior to 1917. Buck, can you tell me anything about this site?
No, I can't. I wasn't around here at the time. It was before my time. Only thing is I know that there was some buildings, and they was buildings here when I first come up here, and it was pretty obvious to find it. There's none of these trees was here that time that was any size to them. They railroad was connected up in some way or another between here and the Red River Lumber Company used to use this roundhouse too for their locomotives when they was at Akeley. And I think that this road run through here across country, across the park, south of the park, and over Lake George area and on east to hooked up to Akeley Road some way or another. I don't know any more than that about it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for all the information you've been able to provide for us, Buck. I sure appreciate the time you've taken today. By the way, this is August 23rd, 1986. And Buck, is it all right if we use this tape just for general use for people who are interested in the history of this area?
Yes.
Okay, it will be property of the Long Lost Lake Association, and anyone who is interested in borrowing the tape for their own use can certainly do that. Is that all right with you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Buck.
I'm glad to do it.